Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another broadcast here of Fast Break here live for Ice Sports Radio. Your Rick for sports. Got a lot to talk about here tonight. Are the Lakers in trouble? Can they climb out the 3-1 hole they got themselves into against the Minnesota Timberwolves? Also, I'll look on the other side of things. The Wolves could have swept the Lakers if they didn't come out after they go in Game 2. That's something to think about right there. Plus, OKC swept the Memphis Grizzlies. I'll discuss where does Memphis go from here and what can they do to improve. Also, prove my point on here where I said we said on X or Twitter that they should be on par with OKC talent around them. Plus, playoff talk around the league, all that good stuff. Denver, LA, all that good stuff. So this is Fast Break here. We're going to dive into these quick messages. And on the other side of things, we're going to dive into everything. So tune in, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And thank you for tuning in with us here tonight on Fast Break here live for IE Sports Radio, your direct for sports. Lots to talk about here tonight. Lots to get into tonight. Playoff talk. Tonight's show, we're going to dive into, are the Lakers in trouble? Was that a call? Should be a foul call on Josh Hart at the end of Game 4 today between the Pistons and the Knicks. Denver Clippers. Aaron Gordon. Did he let go of the ball in time? A lot of ref talk, I guess. We going I hate to say it like that. Might lose some views from that. But a lot of ref talk. Like, did the refs get it right some of these games and whatnot? I got looking at it right now before we got on the air. JJ Redick saying Lucas should have got a call. Well, about 35 seconds left in the game. So a lot of talk about the refs, stuff like that. Are they calling it fair all the way? We'll see. But on the scroll right here in the bottom, follow IE Sports Radio on all your social media feeds: X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Do go to the website, iesportsradio.com, for all your latest shows, news, and feeds. I think a couple days, yesterday, they did on 3 and Out series, they did a live recap for the NFL draft. So if you follow your team, whether the Titans to the damn Chiefs, hey, they cover your team, gave a draft analysis. So do check that out on iesportsradio.com or check them back on the playback here on YouTube as well. Also, do follow our show's page on X/Twitter, Fastbreak IESR. That's Fastbreak IESR. Do follow D-Locke at Black-813 and myself right there, Spawn4288 right there. And before we get rolling to the chat, how y'all doing tonight? Lots to get into, lots to talk about in this wonderful Sunday here. So, I came to talk about the big game today, in a sense. The Timberwolves win 116 over 113 over the Lakers. Anthony Edwards, 43 points. Luka, 38 in the loss. Anthony Edwards was very big in that second half, making clutch shots, making tough plays. At one point, I thought, damn, when LeBron was going that loose ball on him, I thought he got hurt and stuff like that, but and came back. It seemed like it was more of his ankle or whatnot, but Ant came back, played through the rest of the game, and the Wolves won the game. And is watching this game, the Lakers at about three separate times had double-digit leads. 3 separate times. And you got to wonder, like, damn, y'all had these separate leads, all these big-time leads and stuff like that. Why y'all can't hold them? Especially if you got a team, with an older LeBron and a Luka. That should be more than enough, like, to hold at least a 10-point lead or so to possibly win games and whatnot. I know, like I said, I'm saying the show again and again. Basketball is a pretty game of runs. The Wolves win their runs. Julius Randle was making great shots. Nas Reed as well had a big time shot towards the end of the game with Luka. Let them, and that was all on Luka. Let the trailer right there, and you knew who the trailer was. Nas Reed played against the man for a good amount of years. You should know that he can shoot the 3-pointer. Why leave him open like that? All right. Shouldn't worry about Julius Randle. If Julius Randle beat me shooting the ball, hey, God bless him. God bless him. All right. But I ain't gonna let Julius Randle shoot the ball. I'd rather let Julius Randle shoot the ball than Nas Reed. That's all I'm saying. And Marcus is on the one already. Lakers choked. You could argue that. But I think, it was a good back and forth game. I don't say choke is the right word. They kind of blowing it, but I don't think they choked, in my humble opinion. But that's just me. I'm just speaking as a Laker fan, and you see this right here, Eric Kobe right here. But I don't think they choked per se. But everybody can look at it and say, yeah, they choked. Yeah, they choked. But I think, if you look at the last few minutes of the game, I think at times Luka passed up too many shots, and a couple times, when they bring the ball court after defensive rebounds, and a couple times Luka had a look at the ball, and I rather have him shooting than some of the other guys have been shooting. Now, I know Finney Smith and Austin Reeves made some big time 3-pointers, but when the time push comes to shove, when Luka has the ball top, pump faking, taking a couple dribbles, and he hit the 3-point line, I'd rather him take the shot and pass it off, whatnot. That 3-pointer LeBron took with the Lakers up, I think you could have got something better. So for me, I just think, at different times, I know you need your other guys kind of step up, produce. Rui Hachimura was great today. Rui was great. He was making shots, driving the lane. Pull up his stats real quick. Yeah, Rui was great. 23 points for him, 5 rebounds, played great, 5 for 10 for 3-point land as well. Rui got Luka, LeBron, Rui, Austin, Dorian Finney-Smith. They play most of the way. You sprinkle in some Gabe Vincent, Jordan Goodwin, Jared Vanderbilt, but those guys I just mentioned, they play heavy minutes. They play all the way. And I think that's what the Lakers probably had to do next game. If I was JJ Redick, I probably wouldn't bother putting Jackson Hayes. If you're not gonna play him at least 10 minutes, don't bother starting him. Start Jaden Vanderbilt there and see what you get. If you're gonna just go like somebody just linked in and defensive wise, just put Jaden Vanderbilt in the starting lineup and go from there, and put Finney Smith and whatnot and rotate from there. But shout out to the Timberwolves. Like I said, Anthony Edwards, 43 points for him, winning a big time game. Like I said, Julius Randle, another strong game for him. He was making nice clutch shots. His shooting performance in this series has been very good. Not great, but it's good. It's good enough that it put the Timberwolves over the edge over the Lakers. And it seemed like, when when the Timberwolves are down, they always fight back. You got that energy to fight back. And I think that goes to the leadership of Anthony Edwards on the court leadership. Like the energy he brings to the court with these guys to kind of get over hump. Like we kind of passed, Rudy Gobert kind of be that dude. I hate to say it, and one time I thought about this, but we kind of passed Julius Randle kind of be that dude. This is Ant's team. His leadership and determination kind of has really helped carry these dudes. And you kind of see in the post game, he shot those dudes out. Julius Randle, Jay McDaniel, Dante DiVincenzo. He shot these dudes out and give them their props and prayers, so much so that these dudes will continue to play hard for him and the coaching staff and whatnot. And you kind of see him on the court. You can't coach that. You can coach that determination and stuff like that. And Terry Rodriguez, he's on the same boat with me. Like you said in the show, they proved they let that depth outside this small starting lineup. Yeah. I think, things are starting, the depth and stuff like that are starting to show. And I know some people have mentioned about if the Dalton Connect trade went through for Mark Williams, will this make a difference? I don't think so. And I'll be honest with you, as a Lakers fan, I didn't want Mark Williams on this team because he ain't shown really nothing to justify getting rid of a first-round pick like that. And he ain't staying healthy. So I don't think he would make a big difference in this series either. Maybe, maybe not. But his health and I don't care what his stats say in Charlotte. Charlotte's been like below 500 for multiple years now. You know what I'm saying? And then Marcus said, that young boy Edward had his way. Yeah, he definitely had his way. Making tough shots, working on Luka, and whatnot, especially down towards in the game, matching 3 points for 3 points with the Lakers and stuff like that. Anthony Edwards had his way. Yeah, I commend him for that. And go to another comment. 46 minutes for LeBron, too much for his age. Yeah, but I mean, they had to. They had to stick him out. I mean, had no choice. And it's probably his decision to go that long. They probably had to win that game. They had to win that game, man. I had a good chance to go to overtime. Austin Reeves had a good look, but he just couldn't go in. And then LeBron, that damn inbound pass. I don't know what the hell they were looking at. I mean, what was he looking at there? And I'll be honest with you. I think LeBron shouldn't inbound the ball. I'll probably have Rui do it. Have LeBron maybe use his body, set some screens, get Luka open, get Austin Reeves open, whatnot. Go about that way. Now I would done that. And then create that bad turnover, and then you just kind of put yourself in the hole. Now you got to make a 3-point shot to possibly tie the game and send it overtime. But yeah, I mean, if they made overtime, it'd be more than 46 minutes. It'd be like 50 plus. And now, if they won that game, you talk about 2-2 winning Game 5 in LA. Up 3-2, and then trying to close it out. Game 6 on Friday, potentially Friday or Saturday, whenever they play again. Then Marcus with the Shannon Sharp quote. Ooh, funny bringing his name up like this, but UFC, KFC, USC, it don't matter. I got Wolves in 5. Funny that you bring that up, Marcus. Funny that you bring that up. Did the Timberwolves waste a chance to sweep the Lakers? Now, what I mean by this, talking about going back to game 2, the Lakers, beat the Timberwolves in game 2 in LA. And after this, that game 1, the Timberwolves came out and game busters, shot the ball well, got Easter weekend, shot the ball well, ran had a good game, all that good stuff. The drum roll the records at home at Crypto Arena. Now, you come at game 2, Lakers won a game. They came out strong. The Wolves kind of seemed like, the word I'm using, lackadaisical in a sense. Like if they came out strong, and you kind of saw in that second half, they came out, played better in that second half. Let me pull up the numbers for that. Pull it up real quick. About, Randall had 27 in that matchup, 25 for Anthony Edwards. He played 40 minutes in that matchup. And guys like Nas Reed, Davidson didn't play their best as well. Jay McDaniels only had 8 points. So I would say those guys kind of play stronger in game 2. You could look at sweeping the Lakers and your home floor. And like I said, they came out strong in that second half in game 2, but that first half put in so much in the hole. They kind of I don't say gave the game away, but now you kind of looking at, like I brought it up here. Show his page right there at Fastbreak ISR. If the Wolves didn't come out like today's game 2, we couldn't be looking at a sweep right now. You Chris Finch and coaching staff and the players, like you kind of, you're happy you won this afternoon, but you kind of like, driving home, getting yourself go back on the plane, like, damn, I could be just staying home, chilling, and waiting till the Warriors and Rockets series finish up. So you're the Wolves, man. It's like, damn, we could have swept these fools. We could have swept these fools. And going to the golf. Rob Carlisle, how you doing tonight, sir? Good evening, Davis. Have a great show. Knicks are lucky today. You might got somebody disagree with you on that, Ralph. And I don't know if Rick's still in the comments, but Rick might disagree with you on that because he think Josh Hart did not foul Mr. Hardaway at all. But I'll get more to that matchup here in a hot second. To close this out before I go to break, to the chat, if y'all watch at home or the playback or whatever, y'all get to see this. And before Wednesday's matchup, are the Lakers in trouble? That's an honest question. Are the Lakers in trouble? Down 3-1. Luke was sick the previous game, didn't give his best effort. Probably played a factor to things the last game. Came out, looked way better tonight. LeBron played very strong tonight. The role players, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves played better. Finney Smith played better. Now, I say all those things, and they still lost by 3 points. They go back to the crypto and play Wednesday in game 5 in a do-or-die game. Are they in trouble? What can they do to change their fortunes, to survive another day? For me, what we saw today in the role players of Finney Smith, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura, the scoring and stuff like that, and effort got carry over to game 5. Also, if the Lakers got a lead, they got to protect it. They got to stop the Wolves' momentum. That means you got to play tougher defense on Julius Randle. Julius Randle played very good this series. You got to slow him down, make his life difficult. Get on his shooting hand better, and whatnot. If you're driving the lane, a couple times in today's game, a couple times Julius Randle driving the lane, and Luka's right there in the lane, and I don't know, Luka's scared to take a charge, whatever. or JJ told him, like, watch your foul, stuff like that. Right? We're going to y'all 5 for the rest of the game. I don't know what it was, but at times you kind of take a charge if you drive the lane like that. So I think if you get some of those guys in foul trouble, like Julius Randle, Nas Reed, for example, get those guys in foul trouble. And yes, Edwards can win you games, plural. But I think you kind of knock out some of these role players and their, helpfulness. I think, it'll put more pressure on Ant to kind of, do more work. Now, I could say that Dante DiVincenzo could have a big game and help a win game for the Wolves. Possibly. Mike Conley could have one of those big, sneaky, big games. Possibly. But if you're the Lakers, I think, shut down those role players, get those guys in foul trouble and whatnot. Will kind of help go in a long way to secure the win. Also, I think they abandoned, trying to switch on Rudy Gobert. I think that wasn't really working for them. Now you kind of seen the switches with Nas Reed and whatnot, and Nas Reed's not a bad defender. I think, I know the mismatches work, but I think, JJ's kind of over-reliant on them. You know what I'm saying? Because this ain't like I'm not saying Rudy Gobert and Utah, but, you got a different animal here in Minnesota with Anthony Edwards and the other crew guys he got with them. They got some dogs in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? We kind of seen that come to light last year in the playoffs. They got some dogs. You got some new, fresh faces there in a sense. Davidson and Julius Randle. So for me, that's the key for me for the Lakers. And then if you get any production, I mean any production from guys like Gabe Vincent or Jay Vanderbilt and whatnot, or even Dalton Kennett, that's a plus right there. And if you're the Timberwolves, don't let the mistake, don't do what you did in game 2. Come out strong. Don't overdo it, but come out strong. Let Ant lead the way, get the feel in the game. Get Julius Randle rolling early, get him in a nice retention, shooting the ball and whatnot. Don't be over-reliant shooting. Don't let him shoot like 10 threes and shit in the game. Don't do that. Excuse my language. When I'm talking about, like, driving the lane, taking advantage of Lakers' small size and whatnot, do those things. I need Rudy Gobert to at least have a 10-10 game if you're Chris Finch. I need James McDaniels to give me a couple 3-pointers and whatnot. Got to hit his open shots, drive the lane. Like I said, take advantage of that Lakers' lack of size in game 5. And if you do that, I think they win the game. And also, Mike Conley, I need at least 8 points, 8 assists for Mike Conley. I need that in game 5. Go to the chat before we go to break. Hey, Golden North Breakdown. How you doing tonight, sir? Great show. I thought the Wolves are a better team before the series started. Some people agree. I'm speaking from as a Laker fan. And I'll be honest with you. I thought it would be the better matchup for the Lakers in a sense. But I guess not. But he also said getting the role players in foul trouble was the key for the Lakers winning game 2. Yeah. If the Lakers can do that again and have their role players, how they shot the ball well, decently today, and Rudy and Austin and DFS, and play strong defense at certain key points, I think it'll go a long way for the Lakers in the matchup with Minnesota. But like I said, if those guys get rolling early, shoot the ball well, play tough-minded, take advantage of Lakers' lack of size inside, have Nas Reed trail on the inbound, stuff like that, get those looks open there, take advantage of that. I think they'll go a long way for the Wolves winning this game and close out the series. Because kind of looking at it now, they should have closed the series already tonight. but he didn't. But, you know, it is what it is. It's the playoffs. But I just think, you know, I think the Wolves kind of shot themselves in the foot, not take care of business game 2. Now we kind of look at here. We got to go back to LA, which they probably don't mind going back to LA in April, but you get my point. So, having said all that, like I said, Lakers in trouble, possibly, but we'll see how things shake out. Game 5 on Wednesday, and if the Lakers lose this one next Sunday, we're just going to do deep. I don't want to say deep vibe, but we're going to talk about like the Lakers shoot themselves in the foot with the series. But went long there. On the other side of things, on the next segment, did Detroit get hosed? We'll discuss that. And also, like I said, like I predicted, look like the Nuggets Clippers may go to 7. But this is Fast Break here live for IE Sports Radio. You're the Forward Sports. I'll catch you on the other side.
Cleveland and Columbus sports fans, I've got the show for you. I'm Jen B, host of the Show of the Land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. You want football? I've got the Browns, the Buckeyes, the Eagles, the Purple Raiders, and more for you. You want basketball? I've got the Cavs and the Charge for you. You want hockey? I've got the Blue Jackets and the Monsters for you. You want football, aka soccer? I've got the Crew and the Crunch for you. You want volleyball? I'm going to unleash the fury for you. You want more Cleveland and Columbus sports? I've got them all for you, from the majors to the minors to the college rinks. Catch me, Jen B, every week on the Show of the Land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport.
What's up, Wisconsin sports fans? I'm Dan, diehard Baholic, host of the Wisconsin Whistle. Check us out every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We're talking Green Bay Packers, Milwaukee Brewers, Milwaukee Bucks, Marquette basketball, Wisconsin football and basketball, and all Wisconsin sports. Don't miss us each week, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right. We're back. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. This is Davidson, Crooks, 1/2 of Fastback here live for IE Sports Radio. You're the week for all his sports. And during the break, LeBron saying that hand is part of the ball in reference to the crucial late game foul. Yeah. That late game foul that kind of swung things to make the Lakers shoot a 3-pointer at the end of that game. You know, was it off Edwards? It was off Edwards, but he did call foul on that. And, you know, that foul, that call right there really, really swung things in the Lakers, in the Wolves' favor. That, now you kind of turn to the Lakers make a 3-point shot. and whatnot. And you kind of, turned it and to the Lakers forcing, I don't say forcing, but trying to make a 3-point instead, like maybe like Luca, LeBron driving the lane, trying to win the game, win a shot. So yeah, that that call right there to be talked about. The Luca call, to be talked about, and a lot of bad. I don't say a lot of bad calls over the weekend and whatnot, but these rails, you gotta talk about them. So much so, we gotta talk about this Nets game right here. Let's see, I'm topping it out right now. Give me just a second right now. The Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, they won 94-93 over the Detroit Pistons in a good, hard, I'm gonna say good back and forth matchup. If you really being real about it, real strong matchup. At one point Detroit was up, and then the Knicks called back, whatnot. Jalen Brunson got back in the game, going 8 straight and whatnot. Miles Bridges, he hit some very clutch shots in the corner in front of the Pistons bench towards the end. In that fourth quarter, he hit some big time shots. Tough game. Malik Beasley shot the ball very well. All that good stuff. But the Knicks win 67-63 in that matchup. Jalen Brunson, 32 points for him, 11 assists, only 2 turnovers. Very good right there. Karl Towns, 27 points, 9 rebounds for him. Josh Hart, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists for him. So typical stat line for him. I mentioned my Bridges, only 8 points for him. But like I said, 6 of those were very key for them winning that game. I think if he didn't hit those shots, I think they possibly lose that game. But those 6 points really swung in their favor in that today's matchup against Detroit. On the other side of things for Detroit, Kate Cunningham with triple-double, 25, 10 and 10, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Tobias Harris, 18 points for him, 8 rebounds right there, but 0 for 3 for 3-point land. Why are they paying him all this money? I do not know. Tim Hardaway, talking about more in a second, 4 for 13 for 3-point land, 14 points for him. Jalen Duren, 17 rebounds for him, 6 points right there. Like I said, Malik Beasley, 13 points for him, 3 for 9 for 3-point land, and 5 rebounds for him as well. So I think the big talk was, did Josh Hart foul Tim Hardaway on the last possession of the game? Now, you got to look at the play. After the loose ball and the ball got out to Hardaway, when he went up, I ain't trying to make too much noise, but when he went up, he did. I looked this back a couple times. If you're a Knicks fan, don't crucify me on this. I just saw what I saw it live. But he went up. Yeah, Hart kind of, and Hardaway didn't lean into him at all. I'm putting it that way. Hardaway did not lean into him at all. I know if NBA players got real bad doing that, getting them and leading and shit like that. I hate that. Trust me. I hate that. But I think Hardaway was so determined to kind of get the shot off that he didn't lean into it. I think Hart really did bump him. And it should have been a foul call. Now everybody's about talking about a 2-2 series going back to Gotham City on Tuesday, I believe, when next time they play. Let me double check that. But yeah, Tuesday when they play again. To me, I don't think I think Hardaway got fouled. That's just my opinion. Go back to comments from earlier made in the show. You know, Rick Keeler said, "Hey, love the great Knicks show today in Detroit, and show in Detroit the last 2 games." Yes, I do agree with that. You know, so says, "Hey, you know, he brought up the foul that Josh Hart should have gotten in the game too. Hey, probably a good makeup call. No call. Officiating been bad, those series for both sides, very consistent with how they want the games to be." Yeah, that's been a very tough, I want to say a topic discussion about the NBA and their ref and whatnot. And you go back to the Lakers' last game against the Wolves. You know, we had Tony Brothers, one of the officials, and we know how he officiates. How he made the playoff roster for refs, I really don't know. But it's been bad, you know. The Eric Gordon shot last game against the Clippers. It's like one of those bang bang plays that, like, me personally, I think the ball was still in his hands when the buzzer hit, but the ball's already through the net, and so it's like it's a bang bang, but and the ref already called it, and you gotta lean that way. Here, with Josh Hart and Tim Hardaway, you know, I think the ref should have looked at it. And I think that's one of the things the NBA over the summer got to look at, whatever calls like that in a foul in late game situations, they got to look at stuff like that. You know, should have to take a time out, all that stuff to do all that. Should look at stuff like that to make sure you get the call right. If they did, you know, with Anthony Edwards, LeBron right there, they could have done it here. In my humble opinion. So, but it is what it is. I know Bickerstaff was mad chasing down refs and whatnot and to plead his case. I know he probably get a fine for that. But in the end result, the Knicks win the game and they're up 3-1 on the Detroit Pistons. Now, going to Tuesday matchup, can New York close this out? I think they can. If you look at it's been a tough series, but I think New York can close this out. This hopefully the health of Jalen Brunson stays upright. Town's got to come in game 5 and have a monster game. And then your other guys, they got to shoot the ball well. I know Detroit's tough-minded and stuff like that, but, you know, I know Bridges had those key 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, but I think you guys see a little bit more consistency throughout the game. OG, same thing, same boat. A little more consistency throughout the game. So I think either Tom Thibodeau and crew and Jalen Brunson find a way to get those guys down a little bit early and whatnot. You know, I think with Josh Hart, I think his points will come as the flow of the game happens. You know, and he's really good not forcing stuff. But for the other 2 guys, I think you got to get those guys going because they're not bucket getters like that, like Jalen Brunson. So if you're New York, I think those things got to happen. Just look at your bench. You know, your bench didn't really provide much, and it's kind of been like a lower scoring series in a sense. But if you're gonna win this game, your bench got to show up a little bit more. On the Detroit side of things, if you're Detroit, you gotta play tougher against Jalen Brunson. Kay Cunningham, Dennis Schroeder, whoever's guarding him, Thompson, you gotta play tougher against Jalen Brunson. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Got to play tougher against him. make his night a living hell. And then I want to call out Tobias Harris. For the past several years, Tobias Harris has been kind of under the radar, but getting paid very well. Very well. I know some of y'all probably Tobias Harris and they're ready to be no superstar. I know that. But he gets paid like that. Tobias Harris, you gotta have a strong game, dude. You gotta score the ball well. You gotta do something. I knew you had 8 rebounds tonight, but it could be better. You can play stronger defense. You can shoot the ball better. So I'll come out calling you out, Tobias Harris. You gotta have a good game 5. I'm not worried about Kate Cunningham. Kate Cunningham is going to come out and play. I'm not worried about Malik Beasley. He's going to come out and shoot the ball well. You know, he couldn't do this with the Lakers. But he's going to come out and shoot the ball well. Jalen Durn know his role. So, the scoring can be, a lot of the third, fourth option scoring is going to be left out to you. And you got to come out and produce, dog. If you want to take this game series back to Auburn Hills. So, like I said, I think the Knicks will come out and win. There's a good chance that Detroit can. And like I said, Kate Cunningham could come out and have a strong game. Could be also that. If he has another triple-double, and he got to cut down the turnovers too. He had 7 turnovers tonight. This afternoon against the Knicks. That's gotta be like on par with Jalen Brunson did today, like 2 turnovers at most. But I think the Knicks close out and win game 5, and then await the winner of Boston and the Orlando Magic, in which I think Boston might be close to closing that series out because the Magic holding on to dear life last game. And right now they're playing right now with the Magic up, with the Magic down 74-69 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. But before I take my last break here, I think I sent it to him. The pool report on the foul on Josh Hart, whatnot. Pool report on a non-call on Tim Hardaway's shot in the final seconds of the game of the New York at Detroit game. The pool report interview was concluded by Cody Davis of Detroit News with crew chief David Guthrie following today's New York Knicks and Pistons game. Question: what did you see on the last series, and why wasn't that foul call on Tim Hardaway during 3-point attempt? Guthrie says about the question: during live play, it was judged that Josh Hart made a legal defensive play. After post-game review, we observed that Hart made body contact, and that is more than marginal to Tim Hardaway Jr., and a foul should have been called. And when I saw it live, I thought the same thing. If Hardaway would have leaned into him, then they wouldn't call crap. Like I said, Hardaway, when going up, he was just up like he was straight line trying to make the shot, and Hart, just bumped into him. And some of y'all know, these refs and stuff like that, they review stuff after the game, kind of like immediately and see, home office and kind of confirm things, whatnot, what they miss, all that stuff, and, type in the report. And I think that's what happened after the report, I missed one at the end of the game. And that's what David Guthrie said. Yeah, in live action, yeah, they didn't call it, but after review and stuff like that afterwards, yeah, Tim Hardaway got fouled. And Detroit possibly lost a chance to tie this series, and probably put themselves in a hole to not hard to come out of. And that New York fan base Tuesday is going to be loud and ruckus and ready to go. So I think, with that, all that stuff factoring in as well, I think that's why the Knicks win game 5. I don't think it'll be big, but I think they win at least by 5 points, in my opinion. All right, we'll take my last break here. On the other side of things, I'll talk about the other remaining series out there, whatnot, and plus OKC and Memphis. Where does Memphis go from here after getting swept by the Thunder? This is Fast Break here live for iSports Sports Radio. You're the Refollow Sports, and I'll catch you on the other side.
What's going on, Kansas City sports fans? I am the greatest of all time, the best in the world, but more importantly, the owner of the world, Brandon the Franchise Buck, and I am your host for the show. This is KC Sports, which you can find right here every Monday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Now, are you looking for a show that you can watch live or listen to later on that talks about the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Royals, Sporting KC, KC Current, as well as even the Kansas City Mavericks? Or do you want to listen to a show that talks about your high school sports, whether it be on the Missouri side or the Kansas City side? Let's even talk about college. Let's talk about KU. Let's talk about K-State. Let's talk about Mizzou. And let's talk about your boys' alma mater, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas. All in all, it doesn't matter. If it's Kansas City anything, we will talk about it on this show every Monday at 2 p.m. We'll talk about stuff that's happening in your area, let alone Union Station, Power and Light, T-Mobile Center. It doesn't matter. If you want to talk about it, join our segment, the Fan Interaction segment, every Monday at 2 p.m. and make sure you get your voice heard. Until then, I hope you check out the show. As always, I am the greatest of all time, the best in the world, but more importantly, the owner of the world, Brandon the Franchise Buck, and I am your host every Monday at 2 p.m. on This is KC Sports, which you can find right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a Tar Heel, Blue Devil, Demon Deacon, or maybe even a Gamecock? Do you cheer for the Panthers, the Canes, the Crown? And check out the Carolina Sports Update every week with me, Neil Curtis, to get the latest and greatest on all the sports action in the Carolinas. We'll be talking pro sports, ACC and SEC football, basketball, baseball, and everything in between. We'll even talk a little Formula One racing now and again. So, for the best hour of Carolina sports coverage, catch me each week on Carolina Sports Updates with Neil Curtis, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, everybody? Davidson, Crooks here. One half of fast break here for one half of fast break here for IE Sports Radio. Your for all the sports. On the drops, y'all just saw today. Show the Land, our Cleveland show. Got the cast up 3-0 in the Miami Heat. Maybe looking to sweep tomorrow. Tomorrow night. Let me make sure I got my time right. Yeah, so tomorrow night, the Heat looking to sweep the Miami Heat. There in Miami, South Beach. So we'll see about that on tomorrow. The Wisconsin whistle drop. Got the Bucks playing later on tonight against the Pacers. Pacers still up 2-1. The Bucks show signs of life in Game 3. Can they tie this up tonight up in Milwaukee? We'll see. I think to preview that game real quick. Giannis got to have another strong game again, like he did last game. Let me pull those stats up real quick. Yeah, Giannis got a strong game again. Gary Trent Jr., I'm not saying he's going to have 37 points again, but it's got to match. It's got to be damn near close to it. And shooting 9 for 12 for three-point land, I think it'll go a long way. For the Bucks win the game. Lillard, I think he's got to wake up a little bit. 7 points in that last matchup. Kuzma showed a little bit more signs of life, but can be better. 9 points for him in that last matchup there. Porter's had 10 points off the bench. 12 points for Green as well. So if you're Milwaukee, you're going to win this game tonight. Giannis has to continue to do his thing. Gary Trent still got to score the ball well. Don't have to be 37 points. Just got to score the ball well, shoot the ball efficiently. And then with Lillard and Kuzma and Brook Lopez, got to show up. Got to show up. And then for Indiana, if they're going to win this game and tilt it in their favor, Nemahard, Turner, they got to show up in this game. They got to play stronger. No ifs and buts about it. Benedict Mathurin, he's got matched the scoring on the wing. And, to kind of expect that for Neesmith, all that stuff, I think Mathurin is the better scorer, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I think Mathurin's a better scorer for what the Pacers need. Then TJ McConnell, he's got to have a good game off the bench. Goose egg last game. That's got to be better next time around as well. So it then kind of, and you got to slow down with Giannis. Got to take some charges on him. They got the bigs to kind of go, I don't say deep, but they got the bigs to go deep. So I think if they could do that, I think they'll go a long way for the Pacers to win this game tonight. Before I talk about OKC and Memphis, Boston is up 86-84 on the Magic with 7:42 right now. With Paolo making the shot close to a 2-point game. And then Jason Tatum makes another 3-pointer to put Boston up 89-84 in this matchup. It kind of feels like Boston should be looking to sweep in this matchup. And back in game 3, the matchup was up, but Boston damn near, if they had like another mid, I think they would kind of close it out and win that game. But Tatum has 28 points so far, 13 rebounds for him. Jaylen Brown, 19 points for him as well. Derek White, 16 points. And I think if Boston wants to close this game out tonight, the late game scoring Boston, White and Tatum should carry them throughout. And with Derek White, he had some good shots towards the end of game 3 that kind of put Boston within it. So I think if that continues to happen more, I think that should go in Boston's favor. Peyton Pritchard, the 6th man of the year. Not my choice, but he has a goose egg right now, so that should be better right now. He's on the 4 right now, but 0 points for the 6th man of the year right now. On Orlando side of things, the Locke's team, 27 points for Banchero, 20 for Faz Wagner. But the other guys, KCP, Wendell Carter, Gary Harris. The scoring got to be better for those dudes. I'm sorry. And Atlanta probably had to look and change up some things down low because they get no contributions for their big man like that. Wendell Carter, you pay on his money. For some reason, you gave him a contract extension. Jonathan Isaac, you gave him a contract extension. Well, I don't know why. Cole Anthony only played 2 minutes. Anthony Black, 10 points for him thus far for the Magic. Corey Joseph, the veteran, the journeyman, has come in and took the mainstays minutes and stuff like that. So Orlando, if they lose this game, lose this series, they got some questions to do, especially in their front court and what they go about from there. And guards too. Jalen Suggs ain't playing, so some questions there as well. But before I get out of here, I gotta talk about this. The Thunder sweep the Grizzlies 4-0. The Thunder, as we saw in the series, they handled business the first 2 games, especially that game 1. They just smacked down the Grizzlies. And then, you saw competitive efforts from the Grizzlies the next 2 games, but it was kind of like too little, too late in a sense, if that makes sense. And John Morant did not play game 4. He was out due to the hip that some people I call it accidental on Lou Dort. Some people did not think it's intentional. So I think that playing a factor to things there. In that game 3, I went to turn to the Clippers and Nuggets game. Next time I look up, the Thunder came back and won the game. I know, like I said, I knew Ja went out, but you had a 20+ point lead on them. How you lose that? How you lose that? And I give credit to OKC. They came back, didn't hang their head, whatever, and think, oh, well, we get the next game. No. We're better than the team. We're closing this out, and we're closing out in Memphis. And that's like what they did in game 3 and came back and won that game. Game 4, like I said, no John Morant. Game's a lot tighter and whatnot. But they closed it out. Let me pull it out. They closed it out in 2 points. Shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr. Granted, he fouled out, but 30 points for him, 11 rebounds in that matchup in game 4. Played very well. Kind of wish the Lakers kept him. Desmond Bane, 23 points for him. Just that late moments of the game really didn't kind of show up at all. Jerry Jackson, 12 points for him. I even tweeted from our show account right there, Fastback ISR. I tweeted from there like, Jerry, This was Jaren Jackson at the last quarter for the most part. Right here, just waiting in the corner, looking for a shot. Not setting the screen, not doing nothing. He was just here in a triple threat. Just waiting for the ball. Doing nothing, just standing in the corner, not setting the screen, not moving out the basketball, nothing. Just standing in the corner and letting the dribble happen. And they letting that dude, and then gave him a big time contract extension. And if you're a Memphis fan, you kind of wonder, like, damn, why would we lose this game? Like shit, like stuff like that. You know, Zach Edey found out. You know, I think in time, once he builds his strength and stuff like that, he'll be playing better. But I feel like at times, you know, Zach Edey could play a little bit tougher inside. You know, Adama, he played great, played very good, and whatnot. But this Memphis team, I don't know where they go from here. Like Memphis and New Orleans are, I won't say in the same boat, but it's fun. I won't say it's funny in this. When Zion is on the court with New Orleans, they play very great. Without him, they trash. On Memphis, on the other hand, the way they construct their roster and stuff like that, without Ja, they're fine. With them, more over the top. I mean, if they had him in this game right here, I mean, they probably would have won. Maybe, maybe not. You know, Rob Perez on Twitter, on X, he put a question. You know, and I said, I probably like if the coaching is right and whatnot, and guys, and also I also forgot to mention this part. If guys stay healthy, they should be on par with OKC. Yes. If you look at them and the ages and stuff like that, they're very similar. How they draft and whatnot, those teams are very similar. I think the real difference is the coaching. And I think SGA is a better guard than John Morant. Bigger also that you don't see too many injuries from him. As we saw with John Morant, you know, he went out with a hip injury and he can barely walk. And you saw him on crutches on game 4. Coaching. If I was coaching Memphis, I would have Jaren Jackson playing inside more. You see that OKC with Chet Holmgren. I think they're somewhat similar in play. But you know, one thing I love what Holmgren does, he drives the lane a little bit, plays inside, despite his figure and whatnot. He so plays tough inside. You know, having Oscar Russo off the bench, very major plus and whatnot. Jalen Williams as well, very good player as well. Lou Dort as well. I love Lou Dort as a role player. You know, Wallace, Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, same boat. And then you kind of look at Memphis. You know, if you look at the roster, same kind of the same very things. Vince Williams, you know, veteran like Luke Kennard, John Concher, Huff, you know, Wells, you know, if he's not hurt and whatnot, a nice young player. So they're very similar. You know, some people say, why probably back say I was crazy for that. Maybe not, maybe so, maybe not. But being real, this team was a number one seed not too long ago. And the second part to this, does Tomas Lasalle stick around? If I was ownership of Grizzlies, I'd say no. I think you got to get somebody else fresh in there to kind of really maximize these guys and kind of do something different with these guys. Because you can't keep the same coach around with the previous coach you let go, expect something different. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. But I think that same philosophy was still there, and I think you need something change. And if the reports are true about John Morant wanting some change with the offense, stuff like that, with Taylor Jenkins, then you got to make a wholesale change at the coaching staff. Now, who I will target, I don't know. We'll see. Joe Dumars is down in New Orleans, and he might let go of Willie Green. Do you pick up Willie Green? No, I don't think so. If you look around the league, who can you poach? Who's the assistant coach can you poach? Will Sam Cassell be a good option with the squad? You know, seeing how he's been with Boston the past few years. Could he bring that similar style to the table with Memphis? You got some shooters, got some guys down low. Could that work with Sam Cassell? I champion that, manifesting that Sam Cassell could do well with that team. Do you post somebody from the Cleveland Cavaliers bench, Kenny Atkinson? But I think Tomas Lasalle does not stick around. You need some fresh blood, and I think that's part of the problem with Memphis that our past few years. They keep hiring within and whatnot, and nothing really changes per se. But like I said, they got some good building blocks from Memphis that, like I said, should be on par with OKC. You got Pippen Jr., Desmond Bain, Aldama, Jaren Jackson. Like I said about Jaren Jackson, if I was coaching, he'd be playing more inside more. Zach Edey, do the strength up, get more tougher inside, get more used to the NBA style. And he should be way better next year. Like I said, Vince Williams, Morant, Wells, and you still got a very young player in G.G. Jackson. So Memphis, like I said, is a team that's a beautiful mess. If I put it that way, it's a team that's a beautiful mess. That if the right coach get in there, that I think he can formulate things. Like I said, they've been number one seed before. So when people kind of dismiss that and act like this team can't get back there, I think they can get back there. So that's just my opinion of that. Like I said, shout out to OKC. They did sweep the Grizzlies, and now they wait for the winner of the Clippers and Nuggets matchup. And like I said, that series is going to 7. If Eric Gordon is very fortunate that ball got to him and he got it in on the oop. Because I think if that ball hit any part of the rim, I think the game was overtime, and I think Kawhi Leonard will kind of close that game out. Because I think Denver was kind of gassed at the end. And how you not block out Eric Gordon on that tip? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he box out any NBA player, but knowing Eric Gordon, and I know is at older age, but you talking about Eric Gordon, one of the better leapers in the game. You gotta box that out. You know what I'm saying? You gotta box that out. So before I get out of here, to make a prediction for the next game, let's see. Prediction for the next couple games. For tomorrow's games, I got the Cavs closing out tomorrow. Get the music rolling. I got the Cavs winning tomorrow against the Heat. Bank on that. I got the Rockets winning Game 4 tomorrow in the Bay. Let's tie that series 2-2. Tuesday, I got the Clippers winning Game 5. And the Celtics hang on. I got them close out the series against the Magic on Tuesday. I got the Bucks winning tonight, but I got the Pacers coming back and win in Game 6. And then on Tuesday, like I said, I got the Knicks winning at home in Madison Square Garden against Detroit Pistons in that matchup as well. And then if it goes to Wednesday, I think the Lakers win Game 5. And then come back 2-2 Warriors and Rockets. I think the Rockets win that matchup as well. If Jimmy Butler's back. If Jimmy Butler's back, I think we're talking about singing a different tune, in my opinion. But we'll see. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning with me tonight. Had to go solo tonight, but thank you for tuning with me tonight. Do follow iSports Radio right there. You see the headline there. X, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Check out iSports Radio on all your social media feeds, and also where you get your podcast from as well. Also, check out our own personal page, iSportsRadio.com/fastbreak. Give us a subscribe there. And do follow our podcast as well on Spreaker, which you can sign up and be an exclusive member as well. Do follow the show on Twitter/X at FastBreakIESR. That's FastBreakIESR. Do follow D-Locke on Twitter/X at Black-813 and also on Instagram as well. Do follow me on Twitter/X at Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288. Also, do follow me on Instagram and Facebook, The Crooks Process. I did post a video about Cam Ward getting drafted. So I did post a video about that. So do follow me on there. And TikTok as well. I yet to change the name, but it's Work88. Do follow me on there as well. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, next week, more playoff talk. And probably talk about some lottery odds as well. But this is Daisy Crooks signing off for the Fast Break. Talk to y'all later. Peace.